Compared to the rest of the world, the US is one of the least racist countries in the world. Vast immigration can do that. This is a statement that I would 100% agree with. And that's not to say that racism doesn't exist in America. It absolutely does. And we unfortunately have a very old, strong history of racism, which dates back to slavery, Jim Crow, and after that. However, the United States of America has also dealt with their racism problem much more than probably the vast majority of the world and much of Western Europe as well. However, a lot of people are going to just disagree with me and they're going to just have a knee jerk negative reaction to me saying the USA is among the least racist countries in the world. And here's the thing, fair enough. You don't have to agree with me. That's allowed. However, I will say that it is incredibly difficult to actually measure racism among different countries. What metrics are we actually going to use? Also, how are we going to deal with the countries that just systematically deny racism is a thing any way whatsoever? For one, I think that's a really easy way to get a really good score on the racial equality score is to just deny any of these problems exist at all. And here's the thing. Is the USA the least racist country on earth? I'm not comfortable saying that. Is it among the least racist? I would say absolutely so. And I would say the vast majority of racism here in America is structural racism from that legacy of slavery and Jim Crow. However, unfortunately, structural racism is much more difficult to overcome than interpersonal racism, which I think the USA has done among the best in the world to overcome. And we do that because we teach the history of racism here in America, and we interact with people of different races all the time. His point about immigration comes into play here. Most Americans feel very comfortable with having an immigrant or a person of a different race as their neighbor. The overwhelming over 90% of Americans approve of interracial marriage and other things like that. The United States of America, it's one of the most diverse countries in the world, both racially, culturally, and everything else. And it is among the least racist countries in the world. And the fact that we're willing to talk about our racism problem is one of the reasons for this. A lot of countries, and yes, this does include European countries, simply aren't willing to talk about the racism in their country enough to even acknowledge how bad the problem actually is.